So I have been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z recently, and while I did grow up on the franchise, I only really played the video games. I watched bits and pieces of the show growing up, but not enough to say I watched the show. So I've been trying to catch up, and now I'm finally past the Cell Saga. So I thought that this would be a good opportunity to review Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I have been wanting to talk about these games for a long time, but until I actually finish Dragon Ball Z, I won't be able to review anything past the first Budokai game. Dragon Ball Z came out in 2002 for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo GameCube. It received pretty good reviews and currently sits at a 67 on Metacritic. I think that's a fair rating after doing my initial playthrough. This game, I think, is at least deserving of a single playthrough for any hardcore Dragon Ball Z fan, to at least experience the game even though the later games blow this out of the water. That's not to say that this game doesn't have its moments. There are a total of around 21 to 23 some odd characters to choose from on the roster, with people such as Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Raditz, Captain Ginyu, Piccolo, Gohan, and plenty more. Every character comes with their own signature moves from the show, like Vegeta having the Gallic Gun, Krillin using the Destructo Disc, and Goku using his Kamehameha Wave. During the battles, depending on who you are playing as, can have higher forms to transform into. The Saiyan fighters, not including Raditz or Nappa, can turn into Super Saiyans, and Cell and Frieza can turn into their perfect forms. There are a couple of ways to play this game. You can go into duel, where either you and a friend fight against each other, or you can fight against the computer. You can even have the computer fight each other, which can actually make for some great fights, honestly, and can be quite entertaining. A lot of the ways to unlock most of the fighters to choose from will be playing through the story mode, where as soon as you start, you are introduced to the 3D animated version of the opening sequence to the show and that classic American DBZ theme. You will play through the 3 sagas this game has to offer, which is the Saiyan Saga, the Frieza Saga, and the Cell Saga. Some people are probably wondering why the Majin Buu saga is not in this game. Well, the game was released in November of 2002, which means that depending on where they were at in development of this game, meant that the Buu saga probably didn't even start airing in America yet, and by the time the game was officially released, it was still in the final quarter of its last season. So pretty much the story is told with telling you some of the key points about characters and backstories. It is a very abridged version of the show because there is no way they would be able to fit everything in. But they did manage to fit in this moment that haunts every DBZ fan's past. Thankfully for me, I was able to get it on my first try. At the end of every saga, it is treated like the end of an average DBZ episode, and then once the next saga begins, the intro happens again, which I found very interesting. Like, they tried to treat the game like you were watching the show in a way as well. You also have this tournament mode that, just like in the show, you go through a series of fighters to win money that you can then use to buy characters that you unlock throughout the game and capsules that you can use to help your fighters throughout combat. Now, how do I feel about the gameplay? Well, I think it's not too harsh to say that the combat just feels very outdated. With how everything just now feels so fluid and smooth, this is a bit rough around the edges, at least for me. It very well could be that I just plain suck at the game. I mean, that could very well be a possibility. Now, for me, when it came to combat, it just felt like I am still trying to get better and better at the way this game wants me to play, but it is not what I want to do. I want to be able to just pick up the controller and fight an opponent without feeling like the opponent has been playing this game for years on end. Clearly, I could get better with more and more practice, but I'm just here to play the game, review it, and move on to the next one. This game does have quite a bit of difficulty spikes, especially throughout the story and tournament modes. So much so that I was going to pull out my hair at certain points. Graphically, it's not too impressive, but for 2002 it's pretty good. I've seen a lot worse, especially games that came out even years later. But you do also have about 9 stages to choose from, and they are very great looking and faithful to the show. I even like how the tournament and Cell game stage have a ring out feature that will end the fight if you are outside of the ring. Each character comes with their own set of moves to use with their respective abilities. You will also see that fighters can also have different attire to have while fighting, like Captain Ginyu has on Goku's clothing, which I find interesting and comical, honestly. So pretty much this is a game that I believe every Dragon Ball Z fan should at least give a try once in their life, or have it in their collection at least. It is a very small game compared to later entries, but I think it's at least worth playing for the story mode to see how it is and move on from there, which is exactly what I am gonna do when we move on to Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Guys, my name is Pedro Ordonez, also known as GameLife7. Please subscribe, comment, like, thumbs up. Do whatever you guys can to support this channel. Let me know what you guys would like to see me review in my next video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.